or concerns at one time? So just, you can go through everything, so just go ahead.
Well,
Go, Eric, I'm not going to debate with you. You have 4 minutes, go ahead.
sure. It's Eric Previn. Thank you. I'm from CD2. I'm a local resident. Item number 1 on your agenda today is the city attorney's report. He's done a draft ordinance of the putting together city election on the county cycle that's been approved more or less, and we're moving forward with that. And I appreciate it, and I appreciate that this is to clarify the language and codify the existing practice and such. But I thought, since we've made some charter amendments recently, this would be a good time to bring forward what has been a real concern in the community in the local elections, that the neighborhood councils sort of march to a slightly different drum. Some of the election code is applicable, some is not. It has created, as the Ethics Commission and the City Clerk Neighborhood Council Division and Department of Neighborhood Empowerment will all confirm, a hornet's nest of confusion, which unfortunately results in bad things happening. One thing that has happened recently, and I have brought it to the attention of the district attorney, is that it results in a kind of lack of clarity and therefore misuse of city resources. Because as you know, sir, the neighborhood councils, there are 96 citywide, each get about $50,000. And what starts to materialize is that incumbent groups control the mouthpiece of the little neighborhood council. It's very murky, needs to be cleaned up. It can be done very easily with the help of a great leader like Mr. Weezar or perhaps Mr. Harris Dawson, who I don't see today, but one of your helpers would just be a very, very good move in the right direction. Item 2, I'll make it brief. Vote by mail is a group. It's called, actually not Vote by Mail, but United Business Mail is the group. It's going to be accepting a 5-year, $2 million+ deal. What they do is they help get our postage down from 49 cents to 44 cents. But sir, they are making a fortune. I thought that the numbers were dismal on this and we were rethinking it. I don't understand why we're moving forward with that sort of a deal. Item number 3, I just want to underscore, I don't have much to say on it, but I noted that we are increasing the contribution limits for LAUSD. Of course, the contribution limits citywide in this town are $1,400. Here we're going to be increasing the LAUSD to something like $1,100. The typical city council guy like you, sir, is about $700. So it's just interesting to see on the spectrum why we are permitting so much money in teacher board elections. It seems like it needs to be rethought. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, sir. And finally, item number 4 is you performing a great service by taking on board and empowering yourself to make the decisions for your younger council members regarding appointments to the Innovation Commission. Here's an innovation. Let's not do that. Let's have a system where individuals are allowed to make their own appointments and their own kind of recommendations. I think that that would be a show going forward, that you respect the individuals and it's not just about power. Now, sir, in my conclusion, I will simply say that this is the Rules Committee, and I rarely appear here. In fact, I don't think, maybe once or twice have I appeared because it's hard to get here at this time for me. But there's a rule in your council district manual, which is entitled Council Rule 93. Now, I think you know about it. It has to do with the public telecast and the requirement that that telecast be administrated evenly and fairly. City attorney is not going to argue with that today, because we want in a telecast to bring other people into the meeting, to have them participate in a fair and equitable way. We wouldn't want it all on Cedillo during his speeches and then when Mr. Englander talks, nothing. That wouldn't be fair. So the council members have to be represented fairly, and of course through the public and the city employees. But what we have now is a tiered system, which has resulted in discrimination. I mean, I don't want to overstate it because I only have 12 seconds, but I would ask you to bring forward a change to your practice, because the rule is on the books. And then it would show everyone that following the rules is the city way. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let us hold, Mr. Clerk, items 6 and 9, and why don't you read the other items that we have on the agenda?
Certainly. Item number 1 is the city attorney report, an ordinance relative to amending various provisions of the city election code. Item number 2 is the CAO report relative to a second contract amendment with United Business Mail for mailing services for vote-by-mail ballot packages. Item number 3 is the City Ethics Commission report relative to Charter Section 803C, adjustments to LAUSD contribution limits. Item number 4 is a city attorney report and ordinance relative to authorization for the council president to appoint 9 members of the Innovation and Performance Commission. Item number 5 is a CLA report and resolution relative to the city's position regarding enhanced arrest authority for street services investigators. Item number 7 is a CLA report and resolution relative to the city's position on AB 1657. Item number 8 is a CLA report and resolution relative to the city's position on presidential executive action on gun control. Item number 10 is a CLA report and resolution relative to the city's position on HR 1552 and Senate Bill 621. Pardon me. Item number 11 is a CLA report and resolution relative to the city's position on AB 2663. And item number 12 is a CLA report and resolution relative to the city's position on updating pedestrian laws regarding countdown signals at crosswalks.
Okay, we've been joined by Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson. So why don't we do this on items? On item 1, we'll adopt the city attorney report and draft ordinance. On 2, we will adopt the CAO report. On 4, we will adopt the city attorney report and draft ordinance. On 5, we'll adopt the CLA report and resolution. On 7, we'll do the same thing, the CLA report and resolution. Same on 8, CLA report and resolution. On 10, the CLA report and resolution. The same on 11. And on item 12, we'll do the CLA report and the revised resolution. And I wanted to just see, Heather, did you want to say anything on item 3, or you want me to just move it? Okay. So, and also on item 3, we will adopt the Ethics Commission's report. That brings us to item 6. I have some cards on item 6. I think I have Raul Verdugo, Jorge Castillo. Is it Richard Zaldivar? Please come forward.
And Mr. Chair, just
Yes.
for the record, items number 1, 2, and 11 are scheduled in council today at 10 a.m.
Okay, thank you. Now, do you need to read item 6 before I take the? Maybe we should do that.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Item number 6 is a CLA report and resolution relative to the city's position on banning powdered alcohol.
Okay, who's first? Identify yourself.
Hi, my name is Raul Verdugo, and I represent Alcohol Justice. I'm here to support the resolution to ban powdered alcohol.
Yes, sir.
My name is Jorge Castillo, and I'm here representing the Los Angeles Drug and Alcohol Policy Alliance. And I just want to state a couple of statistics in terms of LA City and County. One person dies in LA City and County every 4 hours because of alcohol. That's 6 people every day. And nationwide, 40% of convicted homicides are associated with alcohol, and half of all assaults. And the main factor behind gun violence is not mental illness. It is actually associated with alcohol consumption. We have enough alcohol-related problems and harms in the city of Los Angeles, and we encourage you to support this resolution. It would be a public health and safety nightmare to have powdered alcohol at every corner liquor store in the city of LA. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, please come forward and identify yourself.
Yeah, Richard Zaldivar, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I'm the Executive Director of the Wall Las Memorias Project. I'm also the co-chair of the California Alcohol Policy Alliance, which is a new alliance of nonprofit organizations throughout the state. And I'm here to also ask for your support on powdered alcohol. The CDC has estimated on an annual basis about 5,000 young people die of alcohol overdose or poisoning each year. This ban will help us in our fight against providing alcohol to young people and underage people and the abuse of alcohol. So on behalf of the community, we'd really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Thank you so much. In fact, thanks all of you for coming down. Mr. Harris Dawson?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, and I just want to thank the folks who came to give testimony on this very important matter this morning, and also make sure we recognize Council Members Rue and Bonin, both people who have lots of experience in the crosshairs of the implications of easy availability of narcotics, but especially alcohol. My district suffers from one of the highest homicide rates of any area in Southern California, and over 2/3 of those homicides have alcohol involved. Not illegal drugs, not mental health conditions, not other things. Alcohol is the most common denominator between all the homicides. Over 2/3 of the homicides that happen in my district, and so the idea that we'd make it easier and cheaper and more available to kids is I think, a place where the government should step in and intervene in private enterprise, and so I'm wholly supportive of this measure.
Mr. Weezer, are you good? You know, well, Mr. Harris Dawson, I think you speak for the three of us where it relates to this item. So, without objection, we will, on item 6, we will adopt the CLA report and resolution. So let it be written, so let it be done. That brings us where, Mr. Clerk? Item 9.
To item number 9. Item number 9 is a CLA report and resolution relative to the city's position on Federal Aviation Administration regulations on helicopter noise.
Okay, so I've got some cards. I have Mr. Abrahams George, Wayne Williams, Bob Anderson. Please come forward. Go right ahead.
Okay. According to an FAA survey, the most helicopter traffic in LA County is along the Harbor Freeway in
It seems to
Koreatown
be,
area.
hold George's time. George, I disagree. I think it's right over my house. That's right. Okay, that's what, so you
Everybody
may
thinks
be,
it's
may
over
be
their
the
house.
second, okay, but I think it's right over my house.
Okay.
Anyway, give George a fresh 60 seconds.
Okay.
Go ahead, George. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. Okay, and according to the FAA website, the most number of complaints come from the Koreatown area and the Hollywood Hills where I live in the 4th District, so I'm thankful to Councilman Rue for bringing this forward. According also to the FAA, there are 550 helicopters operating in LA County, but there are 8 million people. And the people deserve protection from helicopter noise, because right now the balance is against the people. Cars, planes, pedestrians all have rules. You can't speed, you can't go on the wrong side of the road, you can't jaywalk, you can't loiter. Even airplanes have minimum altitudes, but helicopters have nothing relating to minimum heights, routes, or times that they can circle an area. A civilized society requires civilized conduct from everyone, including helicopters. We cannot have anarchy in our skies.
Thank you, George. You know, and it really, it's worth us having this conversation on this issue today, because all joking aside, I really was of the impression that it was just myself and the people in my region that were really dealing with this. So I think that it's good that this was brought forward, and that you guys, or you folk, have come down to give your experiences and to state your point of view. So that I do appreciate. Go right ahead.
My name is Wayne Williams, and I'm from Sherman Oaks. And I'd like to say that there's been a significant effort to work with the pilots in the industry to try and get them to fly differently, and they've given promises and said they were going to do things. It just doesn't work out. Without regulation, nothing gets locked in stone, and essentially these guys can fly as they see fit. On Wednesday was a very good example. I'm looking at a web track from the site that the FAA set up with regards to helicopters, looking at the 405 and the 101 freeway where there was a car chase incident. There was not one LAPD helicopter in place flying at a couple of hundred feet above the ground. There was not two. There were, in fact, 5 helicopters in the air. 3 of them, if not 4 of them, were media helicopters that the media people had said they were going to start pooling. Remember Carmageddon? We had it the first time, and so they said we're going to pool, and we're going to continue to pool. It's not happening. If regulation does not go into place, these guys are going to go back to their old ways, because pilots change. It's a whole problem. So
Finish
thank
your
you.
thought. Finish your thought.
So my point is that we would really appreciate it if the council would support our effort to regulate the industry just like everybody else is regulated with all other forms of traffic. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. If I could have the next speaker.
Thank you. My name's Bob Anderson. I'm president of a group called the LA Helicopter Noise Coalition, and I'm also a board member of the Sherman Oaks Homeowners Association. And we're a voluntary group. We comprise people from the Valley all the way down to Long Beach. We set ourselves up 3 years ago, about 3.5 years ago. In those 3.5 years, we have had more than 60 meetings with the FAA and the pilots trying to develop voluntary measures because that's what Congress and the FAA wanted. We gave up. We can't develop voluntary measures. It just hasn't worked. There's no way to even know who the pilots are, and there's no way to enforce them. The pilots want to self-enforce the measures that would be created. So instead, in October, we actually filed 4 petitions for regulations. Increase the altitude, limit the time people can helicopters can hover in one place, make media helicopters pool their signals so there's 1 instead of 4 up there, and create an offshore route. So we strongly support your resolution for regulation, and we're doing all we can to try to help the problem.
Thank you, sir.
LAHelicopternoise.org.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if I just state your name.
Morning. My name is David Rankel. I'm sorry there were no comment cards in back.
Go right ahead.
I am also with the HNC, the LA Area Helicopter Noise Coalition. I also serve as a member of the Van Nuys Airport Citizens Advisory Council and have for many years. What we're looking to do is essentially put some regulations in place that are long overdue. It's affecting all of Los Angeles County, so cities such as West Hollywood, City of Lomita have signed on. And I think for Los Angeles City residents, having you guys sign off is a signal that the FAA and other cities need to also participate to look into regulating the noise issue that emanates from helicopters. We're not trying to stop helicopters from flying. We're suggesting creative solutions such as altitude minimums so that a non-emergency, non-essential flight is just up a little higher and gives those folks on the ground some noise relief. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, if you could fill that out and give it to the clerk. Well, if there are no comments on that item, on item 9, we will adopt the CLA report and resolution. So without objection, we will deem that item approved. Mr. Clerk, is there any further business before this committee?
No, sir. That clears the desk.
This committee is adjourned.